The kid next door has been coming over to my house every day for as long as I can remember. I always thought he had a huge crush on my sister, until the day I saw him get a nosebleed while I was wearing a tank top. That's when it hit me. Holy crap, he's into me. My sister's not home today. You should go, I said, blocking Nicholas at the door. For as long as I could remember, this kid had been coming over every single day to chase after my sister. He charmed my parents so completely they were ready to make him their godson. Meanwhile, their actual son, had a status somewhere below the family dog. To be fair, Nicholas was always nice to me, following me around like a little shadow and always calling out my name, Philip. But thinking he was only nice to me to get closer to my sister always put me in a bad mood. Oh, Nicholas looked down, a little dejected, but the tips of his ears were turning red. A million questions popped into my head. I'm not my sister, so why are you, a guy, blushing at me? A second later, Nicholas looked up like he was about to say something, but the moment his eyes landed on me, a trickle of blood ran from his nose. Whoa. It happened so suddenly that I jumped. I yanked the stunned kid inside and pulled out a wad of tissues for him. Watching him frantically stuff the tissues up his nose, I crossed my arms and smirked. You been eating too well lately? All that vitality giving you nosebleeds? He was tall with a perfectly toned body, the very picture of a young guy full of life. It felt like just yesterday he only came up to my shoulder, but in just a few years he'd shot up and was now taller than me, making him feel pretty intimidating up close. I felt my own four-pack inside. Some people just have good genes. You can't be jealous. No, it's not that. Nicholas pinched his nose, looking dazed, but his eyes kept wandering all over me. That's when I realized something was off. It seemed like from the moment he saw me, all his attention had been focused on me. I looked down at what I was wearing. A simple white tank top and a pair of light gray shorts. What was the big deal? But then, looking at Nicholas's reddening ears and cheeks, and the nosebleed, I finally realized there was a very big deal. Don't tell me you have feelings for me? Could this guy have been coming to my house every day for me? Come to think of it, he did seem to stick to me more. I had just naively assumed he was trying to suck up to me as his potential future brother-in-law. Before I could even ask the question, Nicholas seemed to know what I was thinking. He gave a hurried bow, then stumbled out the door, shouting, "Hey, Philip, I'm gonna go now." Well, damn. It looks like he really does have a thing for me. Nicholas didn't show up for the next few days, which made me start to second-guess myself. Was it possible I was just imagining things? Did I do something that day to scare him off? These questions kept swirling in my head, and my impatient nature made me want to grab him and demand a straight answer. Then, on the morning of the 5th day, before I could go looking for him, he showed up at my door. I opened it to find Nicholas standing there, holding several bags of stuff. When I looked at his face, he pursed his lips, looked down shyly, and quietly said my name, Philip. "Nicholas, you're here. You haven't come to hang out in days." Just then, my sister, Nina, popped her head out and pulled Nicholas right inside. My parents also rushed over to take the bags from him, asking him again and again where he'd been the last few days. I stood off to the side and silently flipped them the bird. Looks like I'm the odd one out here. To get to the bottom of things, I made up an excuse to get my family out of the way and lured Nicholas into my room. Even though he'd been in my room countless times, he still seemed nervous and fidgety. He sat on my bed, his eyes darting around, not knowing where to look, before they finally settled back on my face. I casually started, "So, why'd you get a nosebleed looking at me the other day?" I expected him to stammer for a while and then make up some lame excuse like he usually did. But instead, his eyes were incredibly bright, his pupils reflecting only me. I heard him say without a second of hesitation, "I like you." Boom! I felt like the world I had built inside my head just came crashing down. Even though I had considered this possibility a million times, the moment it was confirmed was still a massive shock. The guy I thought was chasing my sister was actually chasing me. "I don't like you." My brain stalled, and those 4 words just slipped out. The second they were out, I regretted it. Wasn't that a little too harsh? After all, we'd known each other for over a decade. I thought of him as a younger brother. I know. Nicholas nodded, accepting this fact with calm resignation. Seeing how uncomfortable I was, he added, I just wanted to tell you today. You don't need to feel pressured. I won't stay for dinner. I'm leaving, Philip. Nicholas left quickly, his steps seeming a bit unsteady. I figured he wouldn't be back. He'd used up all his courage confessing to me. Otherwise, he wouldn't have waited over 10 years to do it. What a coward. Just when I thought things were settled, the unexpected happened. My parents went on a business trip and dumped me and my sister at Nicholas's house. I protested vehemently, pointing out that I was 20 and my sister was 18, and we were perfectly capable of taking care of ourselves. But my parents just casually replied, you two would just order takeout every day. I don't want to come back to a mountain of takeout boxes, so I'm having Nicholas keep an eye on you. So that's what you think of us? My sister and I stood at Nicholas's front door, on the verge of tears. We mostly stayed in our own house, only going over to Nicholas's for meals. But being watched by Nicholas's intense gaze made me feel completely uneasy, especially when he watched me eat the food he cooked. He'd always eagerly ask, is it good? Looking into his fiery eyes, I would always just nod. If I said it was bad, I had a sneaking suspicion the poor kid would go hide under his covers and cry. Or he'd come over to my house with a serious look and ask, Philip, do you know how to do laundry? Do you need me to help you wash your clothes? This kid was treating me like a child. I decided to tease him. You'd wash my underwear, too? Nicholas's face instantly turned as red as an apple. He looked at me, flustered, but his tone was dead serious. I can. Just kidding. I know how to do it. I resisted the urge to pinch his cheek and sent him away. You should go pack your things. You're heading off to college in a few days. A flash of disappointment seemed to cross Nicholas's eyes before he silently walked away. Nicholas and I were going to the same university. He was a freshman this year and I was a junior. They had to arrive at school 7 days earlier than us for freshman orientation and military training preparation. After a few more days at his house, Nicholas left for school, and my life became even more boring. Before, I could at least tease him from time to kill my boredom. Now, all I could do was stare at my phone, having lost all interest in video games. We had each other's contact info, but Nicholas never messaged me once after he left for school. The only updates I got were from his parents. Guess the bright lights of college life had dazzled him so much that he'd forgotten all about me. Hey, did you hear? There's a super handsome freshman this year. All the upperclassmen girls are going to watch his military training. We upperclassmen guys are old news, sigh. Let's go see if he's really that hot. On my first day back at school, my roommate dragged me to see this legendary freshman. I scoffed internally. Could he really be hotter than Nicholas? I really don't see what the big deal is. I'd rather go see Nicholas than this guy. Nicholas was adorable as a kid. None of the neighbors disliked him. Who knew that when he grew up, he'd shed all that cuteness and transform into a ruggedly handsome guy. He had countless admirers in high school. They even sent love letters to our house. But he's always been a bit of a softie, just like when he was little. If you scold him, he gets all timid and quiet. I wonder how Nicholas's training is going. As an older brother figure, there's nothing wrong with me paying him a friendly visit, right? So, I first went to the campus store and bought a ton of snacks, heading toward the athletic field. Even my roommate was shocked. You cheapskate, who are you buying all this stuff for? Did you find a freshman girl you like? I gave him a light kick, and as he dodged, I explained, feeling oddly defensive, it's for the kid from my neighborhood. Oh, a guy. The September sun scorched the earth, and the athletic field, with no shade whatsoever, felt like a suffocating steamer. Holding an umbrella, I tried to scan the field of thousands to find Nicholas, but it was no use. My roommate, losing patience, grabbed my arm and whined, Dude, I'm begging you. Let's go see the hot freshman first. Your neighborhood kid is too hard to find. You didn't even ask what company he's in. Finding him is harder than finding a needle in a haystack. I sighed internally and agreed. There were tons of upperclassmen girls gathered around the legendary freshman's company. The two of us guys showing up to watch was a bit conspicuous. When we got there, I peered over the crowd and finally got a clear look at the legendary freshman. He had been chosen by the drill instructor to demonstrate a move. He stood ramrod straight, posture perfect, with a sharp jawline and a high-bridged nose that gave him an intense air. Was that really Nicholas? But could it be? He looked nothing like the timid guy I was used to instead. He radiated a standout, untamed confidence, his brow firm with determination, inspiring an involuntary sense of awe. At that moment, Nicholas was pressing his lips together, seemingly annoyed by the crowd staring at him. It really did feel like being a monkey at the zoo. I let out a small laugh, but that laugh, of all things, drew everyone's attention. The crowd turned to look at me, and even Nicholas glanced my way. And I clearly saw that single glance make his entire body go stiff. The drill instructor noticed it too. If even the physically top-tier Nicholas was getting tired, what about the others? The instructor thought for a moment and immediately told everyone to take a 10-minute break. The others seized the opportunity and swarmed around Nicholas, chattering nonstop. "Hey freshman, can I get your number? We can date, or I can help you set up a new phone plan. I'm asking for my brother's number. He's gay. Are you interested? Got a girlfriend? Kid? If not, what about me? Let's get to know each other." Just then, Nicholas pushed through the crowd, rushed over to me, and nervously exclaimed, "Philip, what are you doing here?" Under the gaze of everyone, I swallowed hard and handed him the bag of snacks. "Brought these for you. How's college life treating you?" He took the bag and nodded obediently. "That's good. That's good. Well, I'm gonna go. If I didn't leave now, I was going to be turned into a human pincushion by everyone's stares." I grabbed my still dazed roommate and hurried away. He kept looking back over his shoulder, staring hard at Nicholas as if trying to figure him out. "Stop looking. Let's go. Let's go," I said, smacking him on his good-for-nothing head. My roommate stared at me in shock, pointing a finger at my forehead, full of frustration. "How is that hot freshman your little brother? Why didn't you tell me you had a brother that handsome? He's totally my type." I rubbed my nose awkwardly. "He's still young, don't get any ideas. Besides, he's not looking to date." After all, I had no idea the hot freshman he was talking about was Nicholas. And there were just too many people around Nicholas earlier, so I didn't go looking for him there. My roommate shot me a glare, a hint of a blush on his face. "What do you mean young? He looks plenty big to me." I didn't understand, but I was thoroughly shocked. "Are we talking about the same thing?" I kicked him again. "Get lost, you." That evening, I got a message from Nicholas. "Philip, did you come to see me specifically today?" I chuckled, not wanting to let him get too cocky, so I replied, "Nope, I don't believe you. You even bought me all my favorite snacks. You definitely came just to see me." Reading that, I thought to myself, "Oh, looks like this kid has gotten a little bolder." Then I remembered all the people swarming him today, even someone asking for his number for their gay brother, and I couldn't help but ask, "How many people's numbers have you added these past few days?" Nicholas replied instantly, "I haven't added anyone." I nodded in satisfaction. He's just a kid, he should be focusing on his studies. What's this business about dating? That's good. I was about to end the conversation when Nicholas called me directly. He murmured, "Philip, can I come see you? It's already 10:30, and the dorms lock at 11 o'clock. "You won't make it," I said, quickly shutting him down. Their freshman training was tough. They finished at 10 p.m. and had to be up at 6 a.m. the next morning. Why would he want to run over to my place instead of getting some rest? "I'm in the dorm right next to yours." "I'm already downstairs." Nicholas's voice was low, as if he'd be heartbroken all night if I didn't see him. If he's heartbroken all night, he won't be able to train well tomorrow. What if he gets chewed out by the drill instructor because he can't train properly? And if the instructor yells at him, what if he gets so upset he wants to drop out of school? Such a promising young man can't be allowed to fall into ruin just because I wouldn't see him once. For the sake of our nation's future, it's perfectly reasonable for me to go see him, right? After finding a good excuse for myself, I quickly threw on my shoes and ran downstairs, automatically tuning out my roommate's calls behind me. When I got downstairs, I saw Nicholas standing by the building in a simple white t-shirt, holding a bunch of stuff. When he saw me, his eyes lit up like 1,000 stars, a smile spreading across his face as he waved. Over here. When I reached him, he immediately handed everything to me, then rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and explained, I saw on your social media feed that you wanted to eat this, so I went and bought it. I stared at the things in my hands, a bit dazed. He's been this good to me for so many years. Every time I posted about wanting to eat something, he'd do his best to get it for me. Every time I got hurt playing ball and complained on my feed, medicine would show up at my door within the hour. How could I have ever thought he liked my annoying sister? Nicholas kept chatting with me, but I saw it was almost 11 o'clock and quickly shooed him back to his dorm. As he was leaving, he kept looking at me, not wanting to go, until I gave him a harsh scolding. Only then did he hurry away. You have to be tough with this kid. If you're not, he'll walk all over you. Those puppy dog eyes of his almost made me cave. I carried the stuff he brought me back to my dorm, only to hear my roommate buzzing in my ear. Why didn't you tell me your brother was here? And you guys live so close. If you had told me earlier, I'd be camping out downstairs for him every day. Not because I want to date him, but that face is just too perfect. I just want to admire it. Just then, I had a feeling something wasn't right. How did he know I lived in the building next to his? I ran through a list of all possible suspects, ruled them out one by one, and finally zeroed in on a certain someone. I pulled out my phone and sent a message to Nina, asking if she was the one who told Nicholas which dorm I was in. Nina replied a little while later. Yeah, why didn't Nicholas just ask you instead of me? I don't get it. You two lovebirds are so much trouble. Don't tell me you were mean to him. Have you no shame? He's so good to you. Damn it, how did we become lovebirds? And why is Nina nagging me like some old man? So annoying. I angrily messaged Nina back, adding a ton of exclamation points to show my fury. What makes you think we're a couple? Say that again and you're dead. And stop reading so many romance novels. Nina's tone was smug. Oh please, I could tell Nicholas liked you forever ago. You're the only idiot who couldn't see it. Nina, you were so dead. The next day, my major had a full schedule of classes, so my plan to go see Nicholas had to be postponed until the evening. Nicholas could only say disappointed that he understood. But during class, my roommate, sitting next to me, theatrically grabbed my neck and said fiercely, Philip, you are unethical. I was completely baffled and pushed his hand away. Stop messing around, we're in class. I just assumed he was having one of his crazy moments and decided to ignore him. But then he leaned in close to my ear and said, enunciating every word, didn't you say your brother was too young and not looking to date? Then how come he said today that he has someone he likes? And it's a guy. My heart is broken. Huh? That's when I found out the source of all this was a post on our school's social media page. I opened the post. The title read, Campus Dreamboat Freshman says he likes someone, and it's a guy. The content below said, my heart is literally broken, you guys. Today, I persisted and went to ask the hot freshman for his number. He got into the business school with the top score, he's handsome, and he gets good grades, a total romance novel hero. But he told me with a serious face that he already likes someone from our school, and it's a guy. I guess it's just my fate to fall for gay guys. There were thousands of comments below, all expressing heartbreak, along with some pictures people had taken. I have to admit, he is really handsome. I couldn't stop myself from saving all the pictures. Some people in the comments were talking about me. I saw that Dreamboat talking to Philip, the junior, the other day. Could it be that he likes Philip? Don't spread rumors. I personally heard Nicholas call Philip bro. They're brothers, don't ship the wrong pair. Is it possible that couples can call each other bro? Maybe it's their little thing? OMG, I would trade 10 years of my deskmate's life for a kiss with the Dreamboat, though my deskmate hasn't agreed yet. A kiss from Philip would be fine too, he's also hot. I just want to say, this Dreamboat says he likes someone but hasn't won them over yet. Who could possibly have such bad taste? And he got into this college with the #1 ranking. Me, the person with bad taste, awkwardly rubbed my nose. Facing my roommate's interrogating gaze, I innocently said, I don't know anything. Nothing was official between me and Nicholas, there was no relationship to speak of. There was no point in telling everyone and just inviting a bunch of drama. My roommate thought about it for a second, then let me off the hook. I guess you don't know either. He probably didn't tell you because it's awkward. I get it. Just make sure you vet this guy for him. The person he likes better be at least as hot as you and him, or I won't be able to sleep at night. My silly roommate sure knows how to cope. But on the surface, I replied seriously, yes, sir. I'll get it done. If I didn't say that, I was afraid he might actually murder me. That night, I dragged my roommate along to see how Nicholas's training was going. Just like the other day, he was pulled out by the drill instructor to be a model, his posture ramrod straight, standing out from the crowd. But this time, there were noticeably fewer people gathered around him. Looks like his words from that day had an effect. I couldn't help but think to myself that a guy like him is the gold standard of a decent man. No one could refuse someone so sincere and dedicated. Watching his serious profile, I felt a strange flutter in my chest. It was as if my heart was beating in time with his movements. Even my roommate noticed something was off. He leaned in with a gossipy look on his face. Who are you blushing at? Ooh, who do you like? Your bro here will go get their number for you. I decided to mess with him and pointed at Nicholas. That one. You're crazy. My roommate glared at me. Fine, I'll go get his number for you right now. Who can say no to you? I froze. What did he mean by that? Doesn't he know I already have Nicholas's number? Why would he say he's gonna ask for it? But I understood in the next second. My roommate bellowed at the top of his lungs. Hey, Nicholas, the hot guy from Company 1. My friend here, Philip, a junior from the med school, wants your number and invites you for a late-night snack. His voice was so loud that it carried across the entire field on the evening breeze. The monotony of training was grueling, and this sudden entertainment made everyone cheer, ignoring the drill instructor's murderous glare. The field sounded like it was full of a troop of monkeys, with whoops and hollers echoing all around. They only shut up when the head instructor came over with a megaphone and yelled at them. But the incident had caught the head instructor's attention. He walked up to Nicholas, his voice stern. Did you hear that? Nicholas stood at attention, his voice ringing out loud and clear. Yes, sir. A wave of regret washed over me. Would our antics get Nicholas in trouble? But to my surprise, the head instructor just raised an eyebrow and asked curiously, So I'd like that. As he said it, a small smile played on his lips, and he looked over at me, his eyes filled with joy. In that single moment, it felt like all the noise from the people around us faded away. All I could see was him, and all I could hear was his eyes like that. Woohoo! Everyone started cheering again. Some even started clapping, and one guy almost took off his training uniform to wave it in the air before the drill instructor smacked him on the head to make him behave. My roommate got caught up in the atmosphere and yelled, "We'll wait for you here when you're done." I quickly clamped my hand over his mouth and dragged him aside. You idiot. This is so embarrassing. When Nicholas finished his training, he ran straight over to me. As other people passed by, they kept giving us suggestive looks. My roommate, on the other hand, ran up to Nicholas and started peppering him with questions. Hey freshman, is the person you like handsome? Nicholas glanced at me. Very. What's his personality like? Pretty cute. How long have you known each other? More than 10 years, I guess. More than 10 years? So you're basically childhood sweethearts? You could say that. Seeing that my roommate was planning to interrogate him all night, I quickly cut him off. Shut up, are you taking a census? Humph. My roommate shot me a glare. I'm leaving. Why are you so possessive of your brother? You guys have fun. With that, he hurried off, looking pretty ticked off. But knowing him, he was probably just faking it. After my roommate left, Nicholas and I walked along the road in silence. The wind brushed gently against my face. I thought about how Nicholas had called me cute. I'm older than him. How could he call me cute? I'm a strapping 5 feet 11 inches guy. Philip, did what I said today, did it offend you? Nicholas looked down at me, trying to read my expression for any sign of discomfort. When he saw none, he let out a sigh of relief. No, but don't do that again. The moment the words left my mouth, Nicholas's face fell, and he pursed his lips, not wanting to talk. Remembering his confident demeanor on the field today versus his current state, I quickly patted his head and explained, "There's a group of homophobic jerks at our school. They might try to hurt you, so I don't want everyone to know your situation. Back when I was a freshman, there was a nasty incident on campus. A group of homophobes found out a freshman from the foreign languages department liked men and started bullying him relentlessly. The worst time, they pushed him down the stairs from behind, causing a fractured leg and multiple bruises. He had to be rushed to the hospital. Even though the members of that group were severely punished, there are still some homophobic groups quietly hurting gay students. As a result, many gay students at our school don't dare to be open about their sexuality. With Nicholas being so conspicuous now, I was worried he would be targeted too. To my surprise, after hearing me out, Nicholas just smiled at me. You touched my head. You like me. You little punk. I turned my face away so he couldn't see my blush, my voice sharp and rushed. Did you hear what I just said? I heard. Nicholas boldly reached out and pinched my cheek. Those guys only dare to bully people who won't fight back. Did you forget I've been taking martial arts since I was a kid? Oh right. He always acted like such a harmless little bunny around me that I had started to associate him with a helpless victim. With his build and his skills, how could he possibly be bullied by anyone else? The only person he'd willingly let push him around was me. This realization sent a strange wave of sweetness through me, and I didn't even bother to call him out for daring to pinch my cheek. Just then, Nicholas leaned in close to my ear and asked with certainty, "You like me a little too, right?" "I don't like you." Those simple words got stuck in my throat, and I couldn't get them out. How did this happen? Just a short while ago, I was so sure I didn't like him, but how could I explain this now? Unable to find an answer, I decided to just throw a fit. Who gave you permission to ask me that? Do you have a death wish? We had just reached my dorm, so I quickly pushed him away. Just go on. I can't take this anymore. Why are you asking me such a weird question? Nicholas let me push him along, seemingly in no rush for an immediate answer. Well, let me know when you figure out the answer, Nicholas said, looking me in the eye right before he walked into his dorm building. I waved my hand at him. I know, just go. You're done for, Philip. The moment I stepped into my dorm room, I saw my roommate standing by the door, staring at me ominously. His eyes were a mix of disappointment, anger, and anticipation. He hadn't even turned on the lights, he was just holding a flashlight under his chin to illuminate his face. It looked like a scene from a horror movie. But I was used to his theatrics, so I opted to give him a good kick in the butt. My roommate pretended to collapse dramatically, grabbing a nearby tissue to use as a handkerchief to wipe his tears. You have truly disappointed this emperor. The empire has fallen, Caesar. I helped him up and asked curiously, if I may be so bold, what crime have I committed? Why are you being like this? I don't think I did anything. My roommate started sobbing on my shoulder, though not a single tear fell. You and Nicholas aren't actually brothers, are you? He's your lover boy brother, isn't he? I paused for a moment, then decided to twist the knife. You finally figured it out. I thought with your intelligence you'd never get it. How dare you? My roommate's pointing hand trembled. So you've been lying to me this whole time. You've made a fool of me. The next second, his demeanor completely changed, and he eagerly started grilling me with questions. Questions included, but were not limited to, how did you two meet? Do you like him? How long has he been chasing you? Do your families know each other well? By the end of it, he knew pretty much everything about us, including how Nicholas had been coming to my house every day since we were kids, and how I naively thought he liked my sister until I saw him get a nosebleed over me in a tank top and realized he had other ideas. And so, at 2 in the morning in the boys' dorm, my roommate let out a series of sighs in the silent room. You're a real piece of work. Nicholas is so great and you still don't like him. And your behavior is just like a player stringing someone along. I'm ashamed to be your roommate. You're a monster. Great, by the end of it, I wasn't even human anymore. Even in the second before he fell asleep, he was still mumbling, you damn player, if you don't get with Nicholas, I'll kill you. How could you bear to hurt that fragile little boy's heart? Me. It's all my fault. My roommate's words were a total wake-up call. After seriously thinking about this relationship, I realized I wasn't completely without feelings for Nicholas. I had planned to tell him we should give it a try the next time he asked. But from that day on, it seemed like Nicholas was just single-mindedly waiting for my answer. He didn't contact me and I didn't contact him. It was as if we had no connection anymore. He continued to train hard, and I continued to study hard. I didn't know how to start the conversation. My roommate, frustrated with me, scolded, "Can you please get it together? You've already broken that poor freshman's heart into a million pieces. Are you still expecting him to come to you?" I thought he had a point. The October holiday break was coming up, so I took the initiative and messaged him. "Going home for the break?" Nicholas replied, "Yeah." I asked again, "Should we take the bus together?" He just gave another flat reply, "Sure." What's he so busy with? His replies were so dismissive. Staring at the 4 curt words on my screen, I felt a murderous rage building. "Ah, stop looking at your phone. Get over here. Nicholas is here." Suddenly, my roommate, plastered against the window, started shouting and waving frantically at me. Hearing Nicholas's name, I rushed over. Down below, by the next building, stood 2 figures. One was Nicholas. The other was a cute-looking guy. The other guy's face was flushed, and he was holding a letter, a love letter, no doubt. He was chattering away about something. Nicholas just nodded slightly, and as I looked at him, his gaze drifted up toward me. But it was just a fleeting glance. I couldn't even tell if he'd noticed me. This is so frustrating. An impulse surged through me. Go down there and tell that guy that I'm Nicholas's boyfriend. My roommate was egging me on from the side. Go down there and show him who's the main squeeze. I took a deep breath and bolted downstairs. As I got close to them, I clearly heard the cute guy hand over the love letter and confess, "I like you. Will you accept my confession?" Without a moment's hesitation, Nicholas pointed right at me. "I like him. Sorry. I hope you find your own happiness." The other guy stared at the 2 of us for 3 seconds, didn't try to argue, just gave a sharp nod, and left. "Nicholas, we need to talk." "Okay." Seeing no one was around, I grabbed his hand and led him toward a small grove of trees. Along the way, I kept asking, "Who was that guy?" Nicholas answered seriously, "He's the academic officer in my class. He said he needed to talk to me about something, and then he just kept talking about class stuff. He also said the class president position is empty and hoped I would take it." I asked, still skeptical, "Then how come I heard him confessing to you?" "He only confessed after I agreed to be the class president." I didn't know he was going to do that at first. I nodded, believing him. Just then, we reached a bench. I had him sit down while I remained standing. It seemed that only by looking down on Nicholas could I find the courage I needed. Nicholas looked up and asked, "Do you have an answer for me?" I cleared my throat, pretending to be calm. "I do. What you said to me last time, I've thought about it a lot. I've realized that I'm not without feelings for you." With that, I pulled a pen out of my pocket. "This is the pen you always bugged me for when we were kids. I had a friend bring this new model back from overseas. It's the same brand as mine. It's for you." Seeing Nicholas just staring blankly at the pen, I quickly added, "So, let's give this a try. I have something for you, too." I thought Nicholas would hug me or maybe even kiss me, but I never expected him to pull out a ring. This sacred, momentous thing was slipped onto my hand while I was still in shock. He explained, "I bought this for you with my own money on my 18th birthday. I just didn't have a good chance to give it to you then. Now it's with its rightful owner. This ring isn't very expensive. I'll buy you a better one in the future." In an instant, tears welled up in my eyes. Me, a guy who hadn't cried in years, suddenly found himself hugging Nicholas and sobbing, unable to stop apologizing. "I'm so sorry I made you wait for so long." The next second, Nicholas hugged me back fiercely. "I never felt wrong back then, so you don't have to apologize. I was the one who never had the courage to confess. Besides, waiting is what I do best. You damn kid." My heart ached for him, and at the same time I made a silent vow. This life is long. For the rest of it, I hope this kid will show me the way, and I'll do my best to be worthy of all the years he waited.